Well, would you look at that? Michael Bay actually tried. He tried and he gave a shit about a movie production. He didn't just fart out the same movie like he has the last 7 times I've seen him. You guys all remember my Ring of Hope? I think it's very appropriate that I put this back on. Hello and welcome back to another midnight showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of 13 hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. And yeah, this is actually really surprising. Michael Bay actually did try with this one. Did he actually make a good movie? Not really. But don't get me wrong, this could have been a lot worse. And the things that did work about it really did work. It's really nice to see a rated R Michael Bay film again. I don't think we've actually gotten one of those since The Rock in 1997. Yeah, that long. And he actually does utilize it. And yeah, big problems with this movie, 90% of them are editing. Things just go on way too long, and there's way too much shaky cam inside of this movie. But then again, some of it actually did work, so I can't really fault him on it. But yeah, 90% of the problems are still editing. Things just go on too long. Sections of the movie just need to be cut from the movie. It's not that things need to be added in, it just things need to be taken away. Which, yeah, it's all post-production stuff. Everything else was rather good. So, why do I not really claim this to be a good movie? Well, Michael Bay's fingerprints, the immature Transformers Michael Bay fingerprints are still all over this thing, and those hold it back from me being a good movie in my mind. I'm not saying that it's horrible. This isn't going to be on my top 10 worst list. This isn't going to be on my top 10 or my top 10 best or disappointing. Hell, it might even go on next year's surprising. But it's just, this could have been a hell of a lot worse. And what we got was an enjoyable experience that I can honestly recommend at a discounted theater price. And when it goes to a cheap seat, or if you go to a matinee, absolutely, go see it in the theater. Just don't pay full price. It's not quite worth a full money ticket. But it is a step in the right direction. And maybe, just maybe, we might actually see Michael Bay come back as a good director. But yeah, for those who don't want spoilers, what is the actual story on this one? Well, this is a pretty straightforward siege movie, basically taking place with what actually happened with the soldiers of Benghazi. And it follows 6 guys who are basically contracted out bodyguards for the CIA outpost that is out inside of the middle of nowhere part of Benghazi. Now, when things start going, no, that's not really how to say it. Okay, so that's their job. Is they're basically just chauffeurs for these guys, the CIA's field operatives and whatnot, taking all these Harvard grads to try to make connections and, I don't know if I want to say stabilize the area, as more of just use it to their advantage. Well, that's when the ambassador comes in, and he decides not to stay there, but at the U.S. outpost. It used to be a diplomatic outpost that was being decommissioned, and shit went wrong fast. And yeah, the whole city, it seems like, turns on all of them. They managed to kill the ambassador, and yeah, they're basically stuck inside of this base while they're being attacked from all sides. And it treats it like a siege movie, but it also treats it with, this movie is, I'm trying to think of really positive things to say about this movie, because the siege parts are actually the best parts of the movie. When they're stuck inside of this CIA outpost, they're calling for help. they're calling for to get some people out here. They're trying to get some extraction to find out whether or not the ambassador is alive, because they don't know if he's actually alive. They got to the outpost to try to find him, but they couldn't find him. They only found one of his guys dead from a smoke inhalation inside of a burning building. But they couldn't actually find him. They only find out the next day that, yeah, apparently somebody found his body and he died there too. And when they're stuck in this claustrophobic, trying to guard this area from all of the people coming in, it gets really intense. It's really action-packed. It's dramatic. Hell, the guy from The Office, he's unrecognizable in this. This is downright Oscar-worthy of a performance in a Michael Bay film. That's just mind-blowing. It really is. And the action, some of those explosions looked really damn good. Granted, some of them still look like fireworks, which is a problem. But I will say that they did look a lot more appropriate to be inside of, say, this movie than in Transformers 5. It wasn't a fucking fireworks show. It was just an occasional explosion that had too many little flares going off of it, and makes you wonder what they shot them with. The supporting cast are all very good as well. You really do feel for these guys, especially the six that usually follows, who are the actual bodyguards. The others inside of this, though, the CIA operatives, are really damn good. The only one of them that I really just could not get behind was the guy that played the director. I've seen him in so many things before, but it just didn't work here. The guy was a dick for the sake of being a dick, even when they're being shot at. Just stop being a dick for a second. Did he actually act like that in real life? I don't know. I don't put my hands in the politics here. And to the movie's credit, neither did it. It puts you in the position of the soldiers themselves, and they're not being told jack shit. And that was part of the problem of Benghazi, was the lines of communication. Granted, there may have been some other problems. just saying. But yeah, you're put in this position of these guys. They're calling, the ambassador's calling for help. They're being ordered to stand down. They're not the first responders. They're the last resort. You will stay down. No, if they had actually left when they first got the call, they would have been able to save him. The ambassador would have been alive, as depicted by this movie. So you really do feel for the soldiers that the bureaucratic bullshit just kept them from saving the ambassador. And on top of which, it got them into more trouble. When they should have been evacuating, they ended up being forced to hunker down because everyone else is already coming in to take them down. So, yeah, the only time that this movie ever kind of dived into the politics, and that was very little, the opening montage, I guess you could call it, that tells you what's going on in Benghazi and all that stuff, that was a little pro-Bush administration-ish stuff. I don't want to say that. I guess because it wasn't really Bush's fault. I guess it was a little too pro-American there, that it kind of avoided stating that we might have caused some of the problems inside of there. And yeah, it kind of showed. It wasn't preachy, it wasn't in your face about it, but there still probably was enough of it that you probably could have toned it down just a little bit at the beginning. And the only other part it does that is at the end, when it's basically just doing the homage to the ones that lived, what happened to them afterwards, it's, so on and so forth. That part gets a little too pro-America, pray for these men and they die for your freedom type thing. And yeah, but again, editing, that's all it would have taken, was cut some of the stuff that we didn't need from both ends of those. Problem fixed. Another one of the big problems with it is the beginning. It takes almost an hour of the movie before they get into the siege. An hour. They're really trying to humanize all of the people inside of this movie. From the CIA operatives there, the bodyguards the story is basically about. It's really trying to humanize everyone that was involved in this. And it drags so much in this beginning. It gets boring. And the one, they try to throw in a tense chase moment inside of the movie to try to kind of offset the fact that this is just going on so long. And there's just shaky cam on it the entire time that gets annoying. We get it. This somehow means that we have an action scene going on. No, it doesn't. You're trying to create chaos. You want to know what you're actually doing? Creating annoyance. Just do a smooth tracking shot. You do it right, you can actually show them getting behind it. You don't have to keep it completely still the whole time, but just keep the tracking shot moving the entire time, and it'll work. No, the shaking cam, and it's so short, and the moment is so short. They just realize that one of their operatives has a tail, and they try to get them out of there as fast as possible. That's it. It's just... Okay, they have a tail. The whole city is a tail. Hell, they basically established that a lot of the people that were in and around both the outpost and the CIA base, they basically knew what the fuck is going on, and they could have easily told them. But they didn't. Instead, most of them just ran. It's a different country. It's what happens. And one of the other things that just kind of bugged is, I said, this fingerprints of Michael Bay, immature Michael Bay, rear their ugly head inside of this movie in very, very serious moments, like when the soldiers are going to save the ambassador or attempt to save him. They pass by a guy who's watching football. It's like, oh, does he have the Dodgers game going? Shut the fuck up. You are on a mission. I don't care if you're contracted out. You are still ex-military. Most of these guys are Marines and SEALs. Shut the fuck up and just do your job. And he does that. Most of the characters do that. Just at random times, like when they realize that they're basically surrounded by the people that just tore down the outpost still, because God knows that the Benghazi police just up and left. They basically established that everyone coming out of the woodwork and all these guys, they're the ones that attack. The only reason they're not shooting now is because they don't want to start a firefight with trained soldiers, especially when they're 10 feet away. So they'll just pretend to be the allies coming back to help. Yeah, that's not what happened, like, at all. But when they're in this tense, paranoia-filled situation, is a guy really going to be talking about Black Hawk Down? Is there going to be a guy who's telling you to get your tampons back on? Did you lose your tampon? It just... These moments will try to throw jokes and humor into it for what I can guess is levity, but in a siege movie, you don't want that. You want to show just how desperate these guys are. You want to show just how grim the situation is. You don't want to make us laugh. You don't want to throw in a stupid line about a guy having to shove a wadding into his ear because he's standing next to a .50 caliber and say, "What? Did you forget your tampon? Did your tampon fall out?" Okay, they're both soldiers. They know how loud a .50 caliber should be. They should already have earplugs in, so the situation itself makes no sense. You telling me they forgot earplugs? Because I'm going to tell you, fuck you, that is not the case at all. And again, if you just cut those moments out, this movie would have been really good. I'm not going to say it was great. I'm not going to say it's the best Siege movie I've ever seen. It's not the best... Well, it's not even the best rated R film I've ever seen. There's a lot of PG-13ness to this movie until they get to like the final wave of the attack when people really start dying on the good guys side, the American side of things. That's when we start to see the rated R Michael Bay. We start to see people being blown up. One guy is literally, his arm is hanging off, and he's got only just like a few things of skin holding his arm on, and it's really intense, gory stuff. If you are squeamish, I do not recommend this film whatsoever. But the rest of it, we don't really get to see that until, like I said, the last third. There's an occasional blood spurt, and it just, I wish that there had been a little bit more of that, I guess. And if you just cut some of this stupid PG-13 bullshit out, and these stupid offhand lines that just ruin the tension of the moment, you would have gotten a really damn good movie. For what we got, I am really glad Michael Bay tried. He fucking tried. I haven't seen him try since the 2001 The Island. I think was the last Michael Bay movie that I could actually say that I liked. Well, that's a lie. That is a lie. I'll say that that's the last one that I liked because it was good. Transformers 1, it was okay. Transformers 2 was a piece of shit. Transformers 3 was even worse. I don't know how you do that. Transformers 4, it was kind of enjoyably bad. And Ninja Turtles. Yes, it still does count as a Michael Bay film. I'm sorry, Mr. Doug Liman, but I'm pretty sure that Michael Bay directed that. He just wrote your name on that for shits and giggles. There's too many Michael Bayisms inside of that. Pain and Gain, and I mean, Michael Bay really does suck at biographical films. Pain and Gain and Pearl Harbor both are pieces of shit. So to actually see a biographical film from Michael Bay that is okay, I can honestly get behind. And yeah, going back to my final verdict, I could recommend that you see this in theaters just at a discounted price. Wait for a matinee or for it to go to your cheap theater in town. Don't pay full price. It's not worth the full price, but it is actually worth seeing, which is probably the highest recommendation I think I could give to a Michael Bay production. I mean that. It's kind of mind-blowing that I could actually do that. So, yeah, I've really got nothing else to say on this one, so that's it for me. Did you enjoy the video? Have you seen 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi? Okay, I have one more thing to say. That title sucks. Why not just call this Benghazi or The Secret Soldiers? That would have been a good title. But 13 Hours. 13 Hours would have been a perfect title for this. Why 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi? Seriously, learn how to make a new title. But yeah, did you see the movie? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments below, and maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. Try to keep the politics out of it if you can. Because, yes, we all know that we all have opinion on politics, but frankly, I don't really care about them, and I much prefer not to turn comments into a flame war. So, yeah. If you like the video, be sure to hit the subscribe button or the like button. If you want to see some more from my channel, I will have some of my more recent videos linked down here, along with my top 10 lists that I have done. The top 10 best movies and the top 10 worst movies. Hopefully the worst movies will be out by the time this video gets up. And when it does, I'll finally just link them over here in the corners, or on the sides. Up here in the corners, I'll have links to my channel, as well as the cards that suggest some of my other videos or some of my other playlists. And yeah, be sure to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitch. And that's it for me. So I guess I'll see you all next time.